In today's video, I would like to show you this lovely contraption. I've been painting a lot of wheels over the last few weeks, and one of the biggest problem with wheels is trying to find a place to paint them, but also working on them as well. You're either on your knees on the ground or sitting down, or it's just a mess. So I saw this contraption. I'm just going to take this wheel off and show you how it works. So it's made by Sealy, and it's a nice basic frame. These are all adjustable, so you can adjust them, out or in as far as you want. So you can actually have a wheel, 4 wheels on there with tires. Now these obviously are 20-inch wheels, they're exceptionally big. But I would say even with tires, you could probably still have them on there. As you can see they're tilting, but they also spin. So these spindles just turn around, which is kind of cool for when you're painting. So if you were doing, say if you were, lacquering it or painting or whatever, you can actually spin the wheel just like that, and it's nice to get an even finish on it. Beauty about this stand as well, you can move it around. It's on wheels, on casters, and you can just, take it around wherever you want. Want to wheel it outside for drying or whatever, you can do that. Yeah, it wasn't expensive, so really happy with that. Right, next, have a look at this. Got myself a MIG welder, finally, long last. So I've been wanting a MIG welder for some time, but I don't, and probably won't have enough work for a higher ampage one that has a bottle of gas and all the rest of it. So I've decided to go, and purely because the usage I'm going to have for it is literally tacking panels, basically doing a bit of patchwork, maybe joining a few panels, that kind of thing. Nothing major, maybe welding the odd exhaust, nothing major. So I've decided to go for this MIG welder. It's a 100 amp hour gasless MIG welder. It's basically uses a different MIG wire in comparison to the one that uses the bottle of gas. So I'm going to open it. We're going to have a look. Now there's a monumental difference on the price of this in comparison to the one with the bottle of gas. So just to give you an idea, this one was on special offer and it's €181 plus VAT, whereas the one with the bottle of gas is roughly about 600 or 700 quid, and then you've got to buy the bottle of gas then as well. So I'm sure there's probably cheaper out there, but look, I don't want to be going up into plus 500-600 territory, and plus it's a fucking big unit as well. Okay, let's have a look at this mighty MIG 100 as it's called. Okay, that's the small roll of MIG wire. In the other welders, the one with the bottle of gas, you'd have a much bigger roll. That's just half a kilo roll. You can probably get slightly bigger ones. So that is there. The wire on that is coated, like I say, and that's what's different to the one with the gas. Let's try and get this thing out. It fucking weighs enough anyway. Take it down off the stand. Right, that's better. Okay, so you've got your normal torch, and let's have a look at the front of it. It actually reminds me of like an inverter welder because it's quite small. It fucking weighs a fucking ton. It's deceiving. Okay, so basically on the front of it here, all you've got is your wire speed. Minimum, maximum, I guess that's got to do with the ampage you're going to be welding at. And that's it really, just load up your wire and that's the delivery speed of the wire. And basically what I'm going to be doing with this is I've got a few different jobs that I need to do a small bit of welding on. And if you look into the internals here, you'll see where the MIG wire goes in. So basically the roll of wire sits on here, feeds in here, set it up, and when you click your torch, that'll start spinning and it'll feed the wire out to the end of the torch. And once you've got your earth point set up on the car, and you fuse your two things together, boom, off you go, you're welding. So we're going to be doing a bit of practicing with that before we attack anybody's car with it. So we'll get some panels and do some messing around with that. But I actually think I think that for the price of it, providing it, actually, you know, watched a few reviews on YouTube on welders, and this one popped up a couple of times, and it seems to do the job. And look, for the price of it, I think for the job that I specifically wanted to do right now, I think it's going to do that job perfectly for me. So I might do some, when I'm doing some playing around or some testing with it, we'll definitely record some of that. Right, next, one welding mask. I got a thing before called Arc Eye, and it was a friend of mine was arc welding, stick welding, and he was welding fucking gates or something. He was doing something outside anyway. And I was talking to him, but I was at a fair distance to him, and he was just welding away, and I was kind of, you know, knowing I shouldn't be looking at him welding, but I was, and all the rest of it. Anyway, I didn't know anymore. It was middle of the day. And I can remember going to sleep that night. Everything was fine, and I woke up at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Oh, fuck me, the pain I was in was awful. It's all I can, liken it to is somebody continuously throwing sand in your eyes, and you're trying to clear it, and it getting worse. Unbelievably painful. So I went to South Dock, and they gave me drops, anesthetic drops, and immediately, boom, it was gone. So after that day, I said, fucking never again am I looking at welding. So I'm after getting an automatic Jefferson mask. So this is going to, it's automatic, so it's going to adjust to what's in front of it. So when I look through it now, I'll be able to see through it, and obviously when the welder kicks in, boom, it'll auto dim, and it'll protect my eyes, because I'm getting old and I need to fucking protect them. Right. Last but not least, upholstery trim. Trim and upholstery set. Okay, you might be looking at this going, what the fuck is this? Why don't you just use a screwdriver? But when you end up breaking bits of upholstery or bits of trim because you've been rough with a screwdriver, and believe you me, I have done lots of that. When you see something like this, you go, do you know what? I'm not actually going to be a fucking butcher anymore, and I'm actually going to start looking after things. So when I saw this, it was actually cheap, and I don't really know what's inside, apart from the picture, but we will have a look and see. If the camera wasn't rolling, I'd have probably ripped that off, but anyway. What in the name of fuck is that? I don't know if the microphone picked that up or not. It may or may not have done, but something just was screaming up the road there. Right, okay. All different types of plastic trims. You know, these things are actually so cool because they're going to get in behind door cards. Look, I guess in a lot of the older stuff, it's dead simple. You know, you can normally already get your hand in behind it, or you can, lever it off or whatever, pretty easily. But on newer stuff, and I will tell you that my everyday car is a 2014 BMW 3 Series F30, and I had to replace the door handle cable in it, and trying to get the door card off that without wedging a screwdriver in there was tricky enough. So this is actually quite cool because they're super thin and not going to do any damage. So we got loads of different types. I'm sure we'll figure out what that's about. And a pretty bigger one there as well. What's the betting these won't be in their box in a month's time? But anyway, I'm going to try and be tidy. Right, time to crack on. I almost forgot this box. This box came, I was there, the courier dropped it. I said, what the fuck is this thing? Because I didn't have anything coming. But when I had a sneak peek inside it, I realized there was one outstanding delivery. So in the last video, you will have seen the interior, the black Vadars that I did in that E36. So we've got some grey Vadars to do in an Evo M3. So to get the correct paint for it, I had to send a piece to the suppliers, so they would, they'd mix it to the exact spec. And they will not, they refuse to mix unless it's black, any leather paint unless you send off a sample. So at least, no, I know I was dying the whole lot anyway, and because I sent them a picture and I said, look, you can match it somewhere close, and they goes, no, we need a piece. And I was like, don't fucking lose it. So anyway, we have the armrest back from the M3, which is good. And I also have a litre of the actual, it's called Montana Grey. That's the colour of it. But they've mixed it here and they've just got, sample. So it's in water-based, which is good. We're going to be spraying this on, taking the interior of the M3 out, giving it a good clean, because the driver's seat, nothing is absolutely destroyed, but you'll see that later on. So that's that, good. Been waiting for that for the last couple of weeks, and let's actually see. And I paid for it unbeknownst to myself. They must have had my card details. But anyway, okay, good. So at least that's done. Fucking stuff is so expensive. Good, awesome, good. Let's crack on. Okay. Right. Finally have to do something. Well, there's loads of jobs actually to do to my car, but I have to do this job right away because it's absolutely wrecking my head. The centre exhaust has cracked in it, and the exhaust is actually hanging down on one of the crossbars, one of the cross braces that's underneath it, and it's vibrating through the car, and it's extremely annoying. So we're going to get the trusty welder and tack it up, and do a job on it. So first is first, we got to disconnect the battery so I don't blow the thing to pieces. Just taking off the earth off it there, that'll do it fine. And I don't want to be causing any power surges or anything like that. I don't know, I have much room under here now, so we'll see how we get on. I may have to close the eyes for this one instead of using the mask, but anyway, we'll try. This is fucking tight, to say the least. This is actually cracked a load of times before, so literally it needs a new pipe. But if I can just patch it together for the time being. So let's clip the earth on here, and yeah, we're gonna have to make do without the mask on this one, I'm afraid. So for all you safety conscious people out there, I'm closing my eyes when I'm going to turn the torch on. Let's spot it and tack it for the time being. Right, that will definitely get me out of trouble for a while. Not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, and you're not looking at it. But I'd say it'll get us out of trouble until such time as I can get that pipe actually completely needs replacing anyway. It's been welded before, loads of different places by different people over the years, I'd say, and each time it just seems to be patched and patched. But anyway, the lift would be so much fucking easier. I was getting it flat here and I was putting it down to a tyre, but unfortunately, as you can see here, we've got a crack. And that welder won't do that because that's aluminium, so that's got to get TIG welded. So there isn't much point putting that wheel back on. Might as well have a look around and see what other spares I have, and just put a spare on it for the time being. Obviously these cars don't come with spares. A lot of modern cars just don't come with spare wheels anymore, which is a nightmare. So consequently, if you do get a soft or a flat tire or a puncture or whatever, you don't have a tire to put on it, you can end up driving on the rim, consequently then cracking the things. Just looking here, there's bound to be some scrap around the place. Nice. Last week of working on cars, and there's literally stuff everywhere, cars everywhere, and nothing going according to plan. And of course this happens then in the middle of it then as well. But anyway, I suppose we better start it and see, does it work? Get the keys. Well, however long it'll last, no, I don't know, because like that's only just literally spotted together. However, it'll definitely do the job for the time being. Now, all important, let's pull these studs with a bar, and I'm gonna get that. I need new back tires anyway. That's actually the best one out of the two. For some reason, that one wore way more than the other one, and definitely isn't road legal at the moment. So get that wheel sent off and get it welded. Get 2 new tires on it, and she should be okay. Cool. Okay, guys. Whoops. From this mess that is Lockdown Motors, we'll wrap up this episode here. Hope you enjoyed it. The 325 Sport build is, we're deep in the middle of that at the minute, and we're looking forward to bringing you that one as well. So until then, catch us on the next one. Thanks for watching.